to it at the end. All right. And now I am so excited to kick off today's event. Fasten your seatbelts. You know, I had to say that. Come on. How to drive your career forward with Mercedes-Benz Research and Development North America. We're ecstatic to be joined by three panelists from MBRDNA who will share with us basically how the company has supported them to success and how you can build a career at the company as well. So thank you so much, Seema, Elizabeth, and Laura for joining us today. So I'd love to get this conversation started by asking you all to introduce yourselves. So please fill us in with your background, your role at MBRDNA. How about Seema? You get started.
Hello, everyone. I am Seema Acharya, and I'm a software engineering manager here in Seattle. Our hub is primarily responsible for building software for cars on the cloud. So they are called Cloud and Connectivity Hub. And my team and me specifically build products that is helps cars to have apps within them. So I help our engineers build apps for the cars. That's what I do.
Wow. Okay. Very important. Elizabeth, how about you?
Okay, hi, I am Elizabeth Wang. I am a UX designer. I am a part of Advanced User Experience Design team at Carlsbad, California. I am a part of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Council, that is an employee-led initiative at MBRDNA. My background is in art, interactive media prototyping, virtual reality, and augmented reality. And I work on projects that are touchscreen-based user experience that is part of our Mercedes vehicle, and mostly they are dashboard and instrument cluster. And my responsibilities are thinking outside of the box to incorporate the high technology such as VR and AR into our experience. And I also take consideration of the changing lifestyle of people and how human computer interaction changes that shape our future vehicle design.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And how about you, Laura?
Hi everyone. I'm Laura Demario. I'm head of workplace services. I'm based at the headquarters in Sunnyvale, California. I'm responsible for all things real estate, site operations, safety, and security services. I manage all the sites in our North America regions, and that includes lab, workshops, and office spaces. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for being a part of this today. I'm very excited. So I want to just jump right in with a quick initial question of what initially attracted you guys to MBRDNA? Like, how long have you been with the company? Elizabeth, you want to kick off?
Sure. So I joined MBRDNA in 2019. Before that, I was a part of a mixed reality R&D team at Verizon. And I came from textile design background, which deals with a lot of tangible material. And I also have experience in interactive digital prototyping, such as games. What intrigued me about MBRDNA is that automotive design is the combination of both physical and digital design. Even though most of my projects are digital, I always have to think about how the product will exist in physical setting, which is the interior part of the part of the car. So it was, for me, connecting all the dots that I had been interested in doing as an art student and in grad school working on games. And another aspect is that automotive industry is focusing more on elaborating and enhancing the software side and user interaction. And as a designer, I find it is extremely rewarding and exciting to push the boundaries of technology and to contribute to my design skill sets.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, great. And Laura?
Hi. I've been with MBRDNA for a little over 2 years. I really welcome the opportunity to work in the automotive industry. It's been a real big passion of mine since a child, and I was able to now combine it with my background in operations, facility management, and real estate. So it's really nice to be able to work and play together.
Love it. Absolutely. How about you, Seema?
Hello, I have been with MBRDNA for 2.5 years now, and I was that kid who would always watch every lap of Formula One. So Mercedes being one of the top world constructors right now, it was really exciting when this opportunity came to me. So after graduating from New York University, I was working in the automotive field too for around 6.5 years or so. And I was on the supplier side building navigation routing algorithms for Mercedes, in fact. And now I'm on the other side of the table, actually in R&D, using the latest technology and building stuff for Mercedes.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. So can you share with the audience what your typical work day and work environments look like? How about you kick us off, Seema?
So a typical workday for me would involve, it starts pretty early, like 7-ish, and I have to talk to my counterparts and other teams that we work closely with in Germany, because it's end of the day for them there. And after that, we kick off, our team meets together and we talk about what we did the previous day, what are we going to accomplish today, and if there are any blockers that I can help them unblock. And also, I love to work. Since we are virtual right now, I miss hanging out with my team. So I have spread out the one-on-ones that I have with my team across the week so that I get to meet them. Other than that, we have architectural review and design meetings, and where we discuss like fun ideas that we want to work on going forward. And other than that, I'm also part of DI Council. So these are the things on my mind in the background as I go throughout my week.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, great. And how about you, Elizabeth?
Sure. My day starts usually with meetings with our team members regarding the ongoing projects, and I have discussions with my colleagues on how to tackle those big projects and dissect it into small tasks for each of us. And most of the time, I work with 3D software such as Cinema 4D and Maya to generate the 3D renders and animation. And of course, I also use Adobe Creative Suites. Sometimes the work can be start with just a brainstorming for design that start with just scribbling with pen and paper. And once I have the renders or design work ready to be shared with my teammates, I convene with them and to discuss what we can move forward. And I also get feedback from my peers. And once every 2 weeks, my team have meetings with German stakeholders to exchange ideas and keep up to date with what they're up to. And yeah, most of the days I spend a lot of time fine tuning and focusing on improving the quality of my design work.
Understood, absolutely. And Laura?
Yeah, a typical day here is prioritizing all the requests that come in from real estate, facility issues, operational requests, and safety and security logistics. There are many times that something unexpected comes out, like a utility outage. That did happen today at one site, and you do need to drop a lot of the things that are on your schedule, like meetings, and address those, these systems that come down on an unexpected notice. Collaborate with all my team across the North America region, and I have to work in multiple time zones and be mindful of time zones, East Coast, West Coast timing. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know all about the navigating the different time zones. you never truly get used to it, Okay, moving along. This is one of my favorite ones. How would you describe the culture of MBRDNA? Let's start with you, Laura.
Yeah, the way I would describe the culture is that it's very open. You're challenge yourself to challenge the norm, and recommend improvements for process. I think there's always someone listening to say, hey, I think we can do it better, and how can we do it better? And I do like that. There's respect for your professionalism and the ownership of your own discipline. So I do find that respect here.
Oh, I love that saying. I'm gonna copy that.
Excellent.
Seema, how about you?
So I totally second Laura. Even though I think we are from two different locations, I can see that, yeah, that openness is one of the first thing that comes to my mind. And I think here we try to foster a culture where people coming in don't have to try to fit in, but they feel no matter where they are from and what their interests and background is, they can come as they are and they feel belong. So it is, we are not trying to fit you in. And I think also being part of DI Council, I feel that we have really taken a stride, and the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Council is completely employee based, and it's employee driven initiative. And we have one of the examples of the openness I can give is that we collect feedbacks, or we are part of the interviews that happen, and all the feedback that we get through with that, we have a monthly meeting with our HR head as well as a CEO, and they hear us out and drive initiatives that supports that right away. So I think there is like no man in the middle, and that is an example of open culture that we have here.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. So what are some of the benefits or perks women can expect if they were to join MBRDNA? Elizabeth, what do you think?
I have to say one of the great benefits MBRDNA offers is the employee leasing program that all of my friends ask about. So we can take advantage of the leasing available vehicles with great rates for every year. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. And another perk that I really appreciate most is our wellness reimburse program. Within limited budget, it covers anything that's from gym membership, workout gear, and even expense for building home office for having a better work and life balance.
Wow. Okay, that one took me for a, okay, I'm back. All right, and okay, thank you, Elizabeth. And then Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, I really do like that wellness reimbursement. And it got expanded during the pandemic where people were working from home. And so they extended to monitors and task chairs and things that you might need to be more comfortable from working from home. And another benefit is also that stands out is the flexible time off, or as we call it, FTO. And so rather than accruing the PTO hours that you may have had in the past or experienced at other jobs, here it's FTO, which is more of what they call an unlimited time off program. So when you want to take a day, you take a day. You want to take a week, you take a week. And of course, you just need to work with your manager on all the details of your time off.
Absolutely, absolutely. Piggybacking off of time off, how do you personally find the balance between work and home and family, Laura?
That's always a really important one. And the one word that comes to mind is boundaries. It's important to set those boundaries. When you're working, you're on and you're available to the company. But when you're at home, you really do need to give that attention to your home and have that work-life balance, because especially during the pandemic, it was around the clock. It was easy to allow yourself to get sucked into a 24/7 work-life cycle. Cell phones are by your bedside, they're by your table, they're at your dinner table. So you really do need to know when to set those boundaries and be honest with yourself, to your work and to your home, and give those full attentions and dedications.
100% agreed. Elizabeth, what do you think?
I completely agree with Laura. It is extremely important to set the boundaries between work and personal life. Especially many of us are working from home. My case, I had difficulties dividing those two because I have access to my work laptop 24/7. But what I find the best way is taking workout classes and set a certain time to stop and just go out, like get into the gym gear and hit the gym. And yeah, so after that, I usually feel refreshed and energized. And it actually helps me to look for other solutions that I wasn't able to see when I was stuck with this bogged brain. So I highly recommend set a certain time to stop.
Absolutely, I agree with that for sure. So my next question is, what do you believe sets MBRDNA apart, when it comes to advancing women in the workplace, particularly into leadership roles? How does the company help drive women's careers forward? Seema, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So I can give my own example with respect to how my experience was. I initially joined MBRDNA as a senior software engineer, and we internally we have a great program, basically evaluation that helps people to shift from engineering to management careers. So it is not just an evaluation, there is an entire system set up around it. There are mentors assigned to you, there are LinkedIn learning courses assigned that helps you navigate this space. And throughout this process, it really made me think, why do I want to switch over to a leadership role? What are my values? What do I want to add? How am I going to bring in value with this role? So what it personally means to me, it really helped me navigate that. And throughout this process, it also connected me with other women in leadership roles and actually learn from them firsthand. And every single one of them who I reached out to just with a, hey, can we have a chat? And I'm going for this evaluation. They made time to talk about it and help me navigate this process. So within 2 years, I think to be able to identify that and actually make that shift is something I've been extremely grateful for.
Incredible. Elizabeth, what do you think?
I should say MBRDNA is putting great efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with that being said, we try our best to have all the voices heard and appreciated. And from my personal experience being part of the I Council and to participate hiring process and interviews, I saw my input is greatly appreciated and being reflected by the hiring managers and organizational leaders. And most of the time is finding out what I think or propose is actually what others think, because I sometimes worry about my thoughts or ideas are too foreign to some people because I'm from different culture background. But being able to find those common grounds with other colleagues makes me feel I am included, and we are all realize we are all the same human beings. And I believe this kind of process helps other women or anyone from different culture background to be able to build strong stepping stone to move forward and grow within the organization.
Love that answer. That one just warms your heart, right? I really love that answer. So Laura, I wanted to ask, how has MBRDNA supported you in your career growth?
Yeah, sure. Been allowed to take on additional responsibilities that really align with my background. There's also the ability to join associations, keep active in your areas of interest and in your career, read journals and trade magazines, and continue to be active in my profession. There's an ability to take on other courses that fall a little bit outside. The people team did do LinkedIn Learning, which allows you to take on any courses that allow those to pursue other interests and continue to learn and grow. So yeah, it helps you stay active and keeps broadening your interests and your professional growth path.
Good. Yeah, sure. Seema, what do you think about that?
Especially to move, I think I've given the same example for the previous where I gave my personal experience with respect to that. In addition to that, there are LinkedIn Learning courses that are available, and there is a tuition assistance program that I'm also thinking of taking on. So, yeah.
Sure thing, sure thing. So, we hear from our community, how important it is for them to see women in leadership roles in an organization. So have you found role models at the company? Like, is there one woman who's inspired you to reach your full potential, Elizabeth?
Sure. Excuse me. Looking back, I found everyone that I interacted so far has inspired me to reach my full potential. Whether it is positive or negative, I find there's always something to learn from them, right? It is a sad reality that it is difficult to find women leaders or find representation in tech industry, and needless to say in automotive industry. But my answer to this question would make more sense to include everyone that I work with, regardless of the gender. So one of my colleagues now, she's no longer with the company, but she was one of a great example to me. She was always very respectful for others and being a good active listener than dominating the conversation. And most of all, her warm words, like a little gesture, quite lined off the mood when we are having meetings. And another great example of a good leader that I learned from my past work experience is knowing the team's skill set on a deeper level, so that the work can be allocated to the appropriate people and to put their best work forward. And also being generous on encouragement and appreciation, because when I get encouraged or appreciation, I feel like, oh, I'm doing the good work and I'm making things easier for others with my team. And it really makes a huge difference and wants me to keep my work good work. So I think it's a really important aspect as a leader that I learned from my experience.
100% agreed. I'm a big believer in positive reinforcement as well. It makes a world of difference in a lot of cases. Seema, same question for you.
So I truly believe that you don't have to be in a leadership role to be a leader. Anybody, you can learn something from everybody. One of the examples is, I think she's in the call, Lindsay, who is our executive assistant for our VP. When I initially made the move to be a engineering manager, I was a mere software developer who did not have to worry about all the timelines and how many meetings I had to now be in. I was overwhelmed in the beginning. So I went to her, hey, I see you do a great job with this, and please help me. How do I go ahead with this? And then she did. She like gave me very practical feedback that I use, and it's made a ton of difference. And during my mentorship program, and when I reached out to other women managers here in Seattle, as well as across, we have locations in Michigan, in 3 locations in California. And I reached out to all of them, and then all of them made time to really not say follow one path or the other, just to help me understand who who am I, and then what can I bring authentically to the table. And I don't have to be like somebody else, or don't have to lead like somebody else. And everybody have their own leadership style, and to help me identify that and bring that to work.
Absolutely, I love that. Just a reminder to the audience, you can start shooting over your questions. You want to send it to the Q&A section, not the chat section, okay? And while you're doing that, we're going to keep on moving along. So here's a good one. I love this question here. Straight up, why do you recommend MBRDNA as an employer for women? Seema?
So I think me being when I initially joined, even my previous job, I was the only woman on the table. And especially in automotive fields, there are very few women. So it would just be amazing to have some of you also in there. And I think with diverse inputs, our products are better. Some of the examples of things being kind of skewed is, if we are biased, technology is only going to be even better at being biased. So how do we bring that in, different views into it? For example, the VR headsets that were made, when women wear that, they feel more nauseous as opposed to men, because they were primarily tested and built by men. So it would that is one of the reasons why I encourage a lot of women to be in tech. And also it is being here, it is also very easy, or rather there is a path to make work-life balance a priority. And especially at MBRDNA, we value that a lot. And you don't have to be, be trained in automotive and engineering background, for example, to join my team. As long as you have the basics right, and depending on the level that you apply to, we welcome everybody in. And one of my previous managers, he had majored in music, and he's here now doing great. So yeah, that is my take.
Love it. I love it. Elizabeth, what do you think?
Well, I have to say from designer's perspective, so being in research and development department comes with the liberty of creative freedom. And that's the best part of as a designer, to push the boundaries of future technology and to experiment what design can offer with when it is combined with it. Um, and it's a reality that we don't really see too many women voices, especially in our car sped team. Now it's getting better, but at the same time, it is very fulfilling to inspire and inspire with my vision and the creativity regardless of the gender. And MBRDNA is an open place for everyone who has new ideas and wants to experiment. And it has been quite a privilege for me to be a part of the place where the creativity is celebrated. And I want to say we need more new perspective and new voices for our company, which is the reason why I recommend women to join our company.
Love it. Absolutely love those answers. So, what's your favorite thing about working over at MBRDNA, Laura?
Well, it's being around all these really incredibly cool vehicles. I mean, they're all, I mean, where else do you get to see something before it hits production and get to see what might be working on and prototypes, the emerging technology that will be going into it, and the people themselves. They're just amazing and talented. And to hear their thought process, what's going in, what's the backstory, the labs, workshops, and the spaces for our workers being part of that environment that helps create and foster that creativity, and driving the R&D side of it is really fulfilling. You know, taking on and owning, again, you talked about that earlier, just owning your responsibility. And of course, you know, go back to the pandemic, workplace services and a lot of our shared services counterparts with HR and IT, procurement, legal, we really kept the site safe and operational for those essential operations that had to continue. And so process improvements, of course.
Absolutely. Seema, what do you think? What's your favorite thing about working over there?
I think it has to be the people, because I have learned so much from everybody, and it's a great team to work with. And we use the latest technology to solve real-time problems, and we can actually see it happening in front of our eyes when the cars roll out. And with the overall motto of digitizing and also electrifying all our cars, and I think that is the direction to go forward. And I'm really excited to be part of that, to make that happen.
Absolutely. I love it. So, what skills or traits do you think are key for success at MBRDNA, Seema?
This person at MBRDNA, I think it is really encouraged to speak up your mind and then always ask. And then it is always likely that you will get an answer, and then also make some of your wishes known to make it a reality. And I think especially women can do a better job at that, because they have great ideas and they can be open and outspoken about it. And I also, one of my personal mottos is also to play, there's this awesome concept by one of the philosophers called Dr. James Cars, where he always asks you to play like an infinite game. so that it always helps you focus on the bigger picture. It's not about what you do right now, but how it relates to what you want in life. And there is no winning or losing. There is no limitations of the resources. Everybody has a seat on the table.
All right, and Laura, what do you think as far as the key traits?
Yeah, really, for me, it's keeping focus on that end goal. That path isn't always really clear and straightforward. It may take twists and turns, but keeping focused on where you want to be and where you want to get to complete your project, your work, is really key. And so your colleagues are your greatest resource, and they will be very supportive. And that's what I find. You ask for help, and someone will be there to help support you.
Fantastic. That is a great support system there. So, what's something that you think most people don't know about MBRDNA that you think they should, Elizabeth?
Sure. MBRDNA has colorful culture backgrounds. Exists, thanks to people from everywhere. It is not always easy to be like in culturally diverse workplace because everyone has different ideas and different ways to tackle the problems. But as Laura mentions, we support each other, and it is important to remember that we are a global brand, and it is critical to remember that we are working towards the same goal together. And our offices and branches have different cultures. So for example, Carlsbad office, we have a lot of surfers, including me. So if you ever come down to San Diego or yeah, just let me know, we can surf together.
Nice. Very nice. Laura, what do you think? Oh, you're muted.
Oops, I did answer about the traits and success. I'm sorry. My internet was cut off for a second.
Sure. So, what's something you think most people don't know about MBRDNA that you think they should?
Oh, great. Thank you. It's really realizing the whole product life cycle. I think one of the things is that being here, you can see everything from a product concept, like a sketch or an idea of what they might do, and understand how it goes through the whole life cycle with adding connectivity, the durability, testing that we do through all of our products. And to see that everything does come together from all the different aspects of the different offices that Elizabeth was talking about, the different cultures, but somehow, some way, they all work together, they all come together in the end to produce one amazing vehicle.
Absolutely, I love that.
Apologize for the connectivity.
No, please. We've all been the victim of talking, but you're on mute. It happens to every single one of us. It's fine. So I think I want to jump into a couple of questions from the audience. I see a couple have popped up, and they look pretty good. So anyone can grab one of these. Whoever has an answer, just go on ahead and unmute yourself. You'll be the one. So first off, how is MBRDNA handling return to work? And will they offer 100% remote roles at any time to attract competitive talent from across the US/the world?
I can take this one. So as of now, how we are handling return to work is, I think since the weather around or climate around returning to office is like changing a lot. Initially, we had a rollout date of, I think, September. And that was then actually here listening to our employees, and also we being part of a DI council gave also the feedback, collecting the concerns from the employees. And so what the management decided is that we are going to go ahead and postpone it probably for next year. It's not decided when we are all going to be back, but they're going to have sufficient notice, at least 30 days of notice before we do. And whether they offer 100% remote roles, I am not really sure about this as of now. Maybe we can dig more deeper into that and then get back to it. But but going forward, we know some things the pandemic has brought to us. It's not going to be okay. The classic 5 days, everybody needs to be at work. In Seattle itself, since we have done a great job working remotely, our team here in Seattle, like the entire hub, has decided that we are going to have one dedicated work from home day where everybody, with no meetings, so that everybody can do heads down work, for example. So those are some of the changes, and we are still figuring it out as we go, depending on what our employees really need.
Absolutely, absolutely. That sounds great. That really does sound great. Um, okay, next up, let's see here. Can you describe the hiring process? For example, panel interviews or any work sample assignments to complete?
I can describe my interview process from a couple of years ago that may have changed since then, but mine was, engaged with the recruiter who was really communicative, kept me informed of the steps, screening with some of the key managers. And then I was brought in for a panel interview, which was really a great opportunity to hear about the culture, truly more about the job and expectations, and also an ability to see the headquarter location at the time. So that was my process. And the recruiter was really on top of next steps when I would hear back. And any questions I had asked, she would get back to me right away.
Okay, cool. And Elizabeth, have you found it to be pretty similar as far as when you got hired?
From my case, my hiring manager, which is my current manager, directly reached out to me when I applied online, and we had a couple of phone interviews, and also with HR partners, of course. And then I was also asked to do design challenge, which I had to present the new concept to the team members. Excuse me. Yeah. And I have to say, currently we have DEI interviews. So one of the DEI council members jump in to see the culture fit. So that's a pretty unique interview process of MBRDNA.
I see. And Seema, since you are part of the DI Council, have you taken part in any of those interviews?
Yep, we have. Just also understand if the people coming in, what are their thoughts and ideas, and if they had to even add anything to that, we are also open to that. And on the engineering side, it's also pretty similar. You have phone interviews, and then we have on-site interviews. I'm sorry about the ambulance here.
That's okay.
Perks of living in the city. So we have interviews which are 4 to 5 rounds in person. So right now it's virtual. And then usually recruiters are pretty good at getting back the same day or the next day.
Good, cool. Okay. Next up, I'm really passionate about innovation, technology, and product development. I'm an industrial engineer, and I love to work with projects, but I'm not a developer. Do you have any tips on how to follow a career in R&D? Well, that's a good one.
So I think it depends on what what do they want their career to look like in R&D. Maybe there is a fit already. And so, for example, our Michigan office, I know they are doing work in battery research and powertrain. And so I'm assuming industrial engineering, if you want to stick to industrial engineering, there is something, some common grounds that you can find there. And we, especially for our very initial roles, like either assistant engineers, the very entry level roles, you don't expect to be already an expert. So you can come in and learn. And if you're still in school, you can apply for internships. So like that, you get to learn on the job and then also transition that way.
Good. Sure. Okay. How do you stand out in the tech field? I'm currently starting college for my computer science major.
I can take it.
I knew you'd want this one, Elizabeth.
Yeah. To stand out, I don't know how it means, but I have to say, focus on what you are most interested in, not about what others may interested in. And from my case, I always push myself to learn new skills and also collaborate with people who are smarter than me, I have to say. And so I can't really be contained with myself, you know what I mean? So find a good people who is smarter than you, and also try to learn new skills. For example, I was really comfortable with the 2D graphics, but then I was kind of forced myself to learn 3D skills, and that kind of opened up my horizon and opportunities to look into other possibilities in terms of going into a different career path, or just do a different project that I was not able to do.
Sure.
Yeah, I hope it helped.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Absolutely. There's one more question I see here. It's a little vague. I'm from India, a mechanical engineer. How do I get a good job with Mercedes-Benz? This is like the definition of shooting your shot for sure. They just went for it for sure. I would say to the anonymous attendee here, we did provide a link to the portal to look up any jobs with MBRDNA. So if you just go on ahead and look in our chat box, that should help. But if any of you ladies have a specific answer for the mechanical engineer space, now's the time.
So I'm aware of MBRDI, which is our research and development office in India, and it's in Bangalore. And so there are chances that there is some match there too. So I would encourage you to look into their openings too.
Absolutely. I definitely just love like the boldness. Well, you know, I'm on this. I'm listening in on this. How do I just get a job? They just tell me. I love that. Let's see. Oh, I have a good one. This is for anyone to answer as well. Do you have any general tips for navigating the application or interview process over at MBRDNA?
I'd say it's always showing your interest and following up. Keep in touch with your whoever contacted you or you reached out to and interviewed, and continue to express that you're very interested in the opportunities.
I personally like it when I read why they want to apply for this particular job in the cover letter, so that it gives me a little more insight. And since it's like so many resumes, it gives me a little more insight about what really drives them. So that's nice too. It doesn't have to be, very well crafted. It can be a couple of lines of why you want to, just raw. And that really helps. And also to add to what Laura said, yeah, follow up and don't just apply to one job, apply to multiple if you think is a fit too, just to, get your odds better.
Mm-hmm. That was something I had to learn later in life too. I always thought, when I was younger, you just apply to what you want, cross your fingers, and just hope for it. But if there's multiple, options available for that, in different departments, if it fits, go for it, shoot your shot. So definitely something for this new generation to know as they're looking for opportunities. I have another one. What is one piece of advice you'd want to share with someone interested in a career within MBRDNA? Yeah, think on that for a second.
I mean, if you have any interest in vehicles and technology, or even if you don't, I mean, understand that you don't have to really, be a car buff to really want to work here. It's that there's so many layers of different types of technology, like what Seema does, to what Elizabeth does, to what I do. They're all different disciplines, and yet we all work together. We make it happen, and be open to anything, because you may find yourself and a really long career path that you may have not thought about. And if you really do like vehicles, of course, come join us.
Absolutely. Elizabeth, what do you think?
Yeah, I second to Laura. So don't think that you have to have a background in the automotive industry or degree related to the cars, because people time is changing, everything changes quite fast, and especially like IT or design industry for me, it's everything is coming together like so. And as a designer, it is important to explain with your design portfolio why you reach the end product, not just showing the end result. So we are more interested in your thought process and your approach to tackling those problems than just fancy work. So it's more of explaining how you get there than just what you
Just
can.
getting there.
Yeah.
Sure. It reminds me of back in school where the teacher asks you a math question and then you just put the answer and then they give it back to you. Show your work. I used to get so mad, but yeah, now I see it follows you on when you grow up. So thank you, teachers. And a couple more questions did jump in from the audience. Let's see. Okay. What do you think? Let me get this right. What do you think of the experience expectations in the IT world when applying, especially for new graduates in the process or in the process of graduating?
So I think especially for new graduates, it is very exciting because what Elizabeth said, we are not looking for what you already know. We are looking for how you think about a problem. So even our interviews are around, some of them might be very open-ended and they might not be a right answer. So we want to think about how you think about a problem and how you like you also said, Lashane, about what are the steps in between you take to get to the answer. And it doesn't even have to be the most optimum answer, the right answer. It's just about how you think. So I think if you find a role very exciting, I would say, especially coming in and you would be applying for entry level jobs or internships, you should just go for it. So that might help you understand hands-on like how it looks like to be actually in that position.
Absolutely. And that same attendee asked this question. I love this. If I if I would like to apply for cloud software engineer intern as a remote, is that possible? Shooting my shot from Chicago. So again, I would just say we did link the careers portal. It's the last message in our chat. So anyone listening in, if you wanted to just click on find your next career with MBRDNA here, I'm sure if you scroll through everything, you'd be able to find what specific positions are available. And I would imagine they might, list if they have remote possibilities or not.
So as long as we don't get to the office right now, we do have I know one of my colleagues is from Chicago and she's working from there because right now nobody's coming to work anyway. So it would definitely depend on your manager. But once we do decide to come back to work, I would say that would be completely dependent on your manager. But right now, yes, you can apply from wherever in the world you are, and then also work till we decide to come back to work.
Got it. Got it. Okay, and we do have one more question. Let's see. This looks like a doozy here. I have more than 15 years in financial services, but I'm looking to venture outside of the world of banking. Can any of the panelists speak to their experience transitioning into the R&D slash automotive industry from another field or industry? Is the learning curve steep and embraced, or is it a must to have years of experience in R&D?
I would say that you don't need a lot of deep knowledge in the R&D side. You would want to be able to be very well positioned in your own field of expertise. But the biggest challenge, I think, coming into this company or any company that you transition into is learning the business, learning all the acronyms. I would say, and I think my colleagues would agree, we're very acronym heavy, like DEI, right? Somebody may not know what that is right off the bat. So it's being patient and learning. R&D is a little bit more slower than a financial industry might be, or it could be faster paced when we have deliverables. We have deadlines as well, just like any other company. But I think if you're interested and you pursue it, your dedication will shine through.
Fantastic answer. Wow. Anyone want to chime in on that?
So I guess I can talk about when I graduated and moved to automotive industry. I think if you are specifically, I was trained in cloud services and big data. So I would say being in automotive field would just be a result of because you're passionate or curious about it, because it's a domain which is separate from the competencies that you have. So if you are especially like say already a developer in the financial firms, but you just worked on financial products, then the same knowledge would apply. It is like the same technology that you would use or in the same even programming language, for example. So it doesn't matter. Maybe you don't have the domain knowledge or all your domain knowledge is in financial industry, but that is also really important at going back to, wanting to hire diverse candidates, being from a financial industry, maybe there is a couple of things. The fast pace that financial industry moves in is what we need to bring in the automotive field. So that is, I would see that as a strength. So if your base competency still holds good, I would definitely encourage you to do that. And also it is very rewarding. I went to NYU, and I chose not to work in the financial industry. So if you are thinking about it, at least from my experience, it has been really rewarding to take Uber drives, and I say, hey, I built that navigation system, and it is, and they're like, what, really? That is so cool. So it is really rewarding to actually see how people use it in real time. So
that must be so cool every time. I'm sure, especially if you're in New York saying that, like they must look back at you like, yeah, right. New Yorkers don't believe anything anybody says, so I can only imagine. That is fantastic. So we do have 5 minutes left. I do want to do a very quick lightning round. It's my all-time favorite part of this question section here is simply, at Fairy God Boss, we do have a tradition. We've seen that women do not feel comfortable enough, bragging and taking ownership of all the amazing things that they've achieved. So would you each very quickly be willing to just kind of brag for us a little bit about an accomplishment, a recent accomplishment, whether professionally or even personally, just to kind of encourage everyone?
I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Really want to, well, I know as a woman, I don't want to take full ownership, but I would like to say that I help lead with a big team, all the return to office efforts, especially during the essential work during the pandemic. I did mention this earlier, but it was really a big effort to keep our offices safe and functional, as well as comfortable for the workers that did have to continue to come into the office. Not everyone had the ability to work remote. So I'd like to take a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool.
Who's next?
I can go next.
Yeah.
So I'm super proud of the team and I who contributed to building apps, helping our internal employees build apps and then take it to production. And we see these apps that we built on S-Class, this year's S-Class and EQS. So super proud about that. And also coming into MBRDNA within 2.5 years, I got not only promoted on the technical side and then also made the move again, being promoted to management. So that is really cool. And that happened like all this year. So I'm super proud about that.
So many wins, so many wins. And Elizabeth, take us home. What do you got?
Sure. I can talk about the project that I worked on. It's an interactive design prototype about showing new design principle of our touchscreen-based infotainment. It was a cross-team collaboration between Sunnyvale and Carlsbad team members. And it was a really great example of how a small team of only 4 can deliver a prototype that's working, and people can actually test it when downloading the app on the tablet. And I believe showing the new concept, it's the best way to show with a proof of concept with those moving or clickable prototype, and not just looking at the PowerPoint slides. And my contribution to this project was a 3D part, like 3D map, transition animation, like zooming in and out from the map and showing the points of interest along the route. And our MBRDNA CEO was a really big active supporter on this project. And we were able to show it to our German stakeholders too. So
that is tremendous. And you are a part of that. That is tremendous. Well, folks, we only have a couple seconds left before they kick us out. So we're going to parallel park this conversation for now. Guys, I have to make the car puns. I have no choice.
Love it.
But I personally had a fantastic time speaking with Seema, Elizabeth, and Laura. I hope everyone listening in had a great time as well. Remember, we are going to send this recording out to all the attendees. It'll also be on the page, the events page for MBRDNA. And if you guys have any other follow-up questions, please let us know. But otherwise, I want everyone to have a great rest of their day and rest of their week. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.